Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name's Jeremiah Krakowski, and on this podcast we talk about how you can grow in your life and in your business to make more money and reach your goals. And today I want to help you with your mindset about why you're not making the kind of money that you want to make. And I really think that this is key for people. If you want to make six figures, if you want to make $1 million, and this is what I have used myself to amplify my impact, my influence, grow my leadership, and my ability to make money. And this is something that I believe truly, if you don't get this in your mindset, you are going to struggle to make the kind of money that you want to make, okay? One of the two biggest things are this, is how you see yourself, your affirmations, what you affirm about yourself, your belief and your own self-esteem affects your ability to make the kind of money that you want to make. And so if you see yourself negatively, in a negative light, if you see yourself as somebody that doesn't have the power to do those types of things, if you see yourself as somebody who is struggling, that's going to be your reality. And so changing your self-esteem, starting to affirm yourself as above where you're at, like I am freaking amazing today. Starting to wake up with excitement in the morning and changing your self-image in a positive way is a key foundational thing for you to make the kind of money you want to make. And stop criticizing and beating yourself up. Stop criticizing and being critical of others who make money. That's another big area, is that. And so when we're criticizing ourselves and others, we are stunting our ability to make the kind of money that we want to make. When we are critical of ourselves, we are stopping ourselves from stepping into that place of the type of self-esteem that we need to make that kind of money. And so you need to flip your perspective, change the language that you're using, stop complaining about why your situation isn't where it's at, where you want to be. You have a desire of where you want to be. And if all you're saying is, man, my life sucks, I'm not even going to say it, but the language that people use about how they're not successful, and it's all you're ever talking about is what's not working for you, that creates that reality in your life. And until you change the language, the words that come out of your mouth, physically speaking the words, not just thinking them, actually speaking them and declaring, I'm going to be a six-figure earner. I am doing activities that make me a millionaire. And you change the words that you use and you change how you view yourself, you're going to struggle to make the kind of money that you want to make. And this is one of the biggest reasons why most of the people on my social media, most of the people who listen to my podcast, struggle to make the kind of money they want, okay? Another reason why maybe they don't struggle with the self-esteem one is being a pleaser, being a people pleaser, okay? People pleasing is where we are trying to make everybody happy around us, and we're doing all the things that we think we're obligated to do to please others, instead of doing what we know that we need to do in our lives, and we believe that it's selfish to do the things in our lives that we need to do because we're so focused on pleasing other people, being worried about what other people think. Now, this is different than caretaking. This is different than taking care of other people and supporting other people. I'm supportive of that. What I'm talking about is this fear, this worry, and this need for everybody to validate us. This need for us to not have any negative criticism. This need and fear of if people hate us or dislike us, or this desire that we need everybody to always be happy with us all the time and always praise us and always say nice things about us and always think nice things about us. For this need for people to never think that we're wrong. This need for people to never have a negative opinion of us. All of this, and we're creating this framework that we operate in to try to make people think positive things about us at all times, that we have a desire that people approve of us all the time, our approval seeker, which, by the way, if you study adult attachment styles, I'm not going to go into that, but you can do some research on that, on the psychology of adult attachment styles. And if you Google that, there's a lot that you're going to find out about yourself that's going to reveal a whole lot about how you do things. You're approval seeker, constantly seeking the approval of other people and doing things to please and get approval from others. And what you'll end up doing is you will literally do the activities that will make sure that you never make the kind of money that you want to make with that type of attitude. And so this is the two biggest reasons that I see that a lot of people struggle to make the kind of money that they want to make. And they actually are interconnected with each other. Why are they interconnected? Because if we're trying to get validation, approval from others, we lack it in ourselves outside of what other people think of us. So we're getting what we don't have of ourselves. We're getting it by what other people say about us. We're getting it by what other people do. You need to get to the place where your self-esteem, your self-image, and what you think about yourself, regardless of what any human being on the planet Earth thinks, it has to be the highest above what anybody else thinks, okay? On planet Earth, any other human. Now, if you know me, I am a Christian, I'm a believer, I love Jesus. My identity comes from Christ, and so what God thinks about me is above what even I think about me. But at the same time, and I'm going to be real with you, I grew up with some bad Bible teaching that taught me that I needed to think crappy of myself all the time. That taught me that I need to think lowly of myself all the time. That I have to think that I'm worse, that I'm a terrible person all the time. And I had to rewire my brain to not think that way. I had to rewire that teaching. It's not biblical. It's not true. And so realize, A, God thinks you're amazing. Start thinking that you're amazing yourself. And I truly, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a business owner, if you want to be somebody who impacts the world with finances, you make money, you make six figures, you become a millionaire, you're going to have to shift into a place where you see yourself in a positive light. And you're not getting that validation from others. And by the way, what's interesting is this isn't pride, by the way. This is actually one of the most humble positions that you can have. This is very interesting. And this is where a lot of people, I think, struggle with, well, if I think high of myself, then I'm not humble. No. Pride is actually the person who goes out and gets their validation from others because they're needing others to verify for them what they think about themselves because they're getting it from other people. Okay? Humility is, I don't need you to say nice things about me. I'm going to do what I know I'm called to do. I'm going to be a kind, compassionate, caring person. I don't need to be rude or a jerk or be mean. I don't need you to do anything for me. And so shift that perspective. Shift your perspective on that. It's not selfish to think highly of yourself, to think good thoughts about yourself, to think that you're an incredible person. And so if you change your belief about you and then you simultaneously stop operating in this way that you're trying to get approval from everybody. Listen, you're never going to get approval from everybody. You're not Cheetos, you're not Doritos, and people don't even like all those. And if we want to make this in a spiritual sense, no, not everybody liked Jesus either. He didn't get approval from everybody. That's like, you know what I mean? But let's not go in that direction. What I want to share with you is that when you have the confidence inside of yourself, confidence comes from repetition, confidence comes from belief in yourself, confidence comes from knowing who you are, confidence comes from a number of different places. I want you to think about a time. Think back to a time when you felt truly confident about something. When you felt like, I'm really good at this, I can accomplish it, and you crushed it. Could have been 10, 20 years ago even. Whatever. In that moment, I want you to borrow that confidence, and when you go to build your business, have a vision of yourself accomplishing what you want, even if your current reality looks like it's impossible. And know that it's possible for you. Change your belief about what's possible for you in your business to make the kind of money that you want to make. change your language from things aren't working out to things are starting to work out, and I am shifting things and adjusting them so that they do. So when it's really three things. When you change the words that you use, you got to cut out the complaining. It literally, there's energy in your words, okay? Life and death is in the tongue. And the words that you say create the world that you live. I don't know who first said that, but it's true. The words that you say are literally creating the world that you live. Your tongue can actually block blessings in your life. By the way, I've done that. I have blocked blessings in my life by what I said, by being flippant with it, by not being prudent in the words that I use, by letting my feelings and emotions control what I do, by not having self-control over my tongue. And complaining is one of the number one areas. If you just went off on a cold turkey diet of no complaining and caught yourself every time you were complaining, caught yourself anytime that you were focused on what was going wrong in your life instead of what you're doing to change it and shift it and fix it. Listen, not everything goes right. Yeah, that's reality. That's planet Earth. But instead of looking only at the problem, let's look for a solution. And let's focus on the solution. And then let's focus on doing the solution. Oh, and then you take action on the solution and it doesn't work out. And then do we complain again? See, that's where a lot of people get stuck. Is they take action on their solution and then they get stuck again because it didn't go how they wanted. Because the mindset is, my happiness is tied to things going my way. You see what I'm saying? Resistance is a good thing, my friends. Coming up against opposition is actually a good thing. It shows you areas where you need to grow. It's kind of like in a gym. Listen, building a business, entrepreneurship is like building your body. It's like working out. Really. You're going to go through reps. You're going to be sore. You're going to fail. You're going to struggle. And then anytime you struggle, listen, you can either win or you can learn. Choose to learn. I don't believe that any time that I have a failing campaign that we're losing. Even if we've lost money. I say, okay, great. What is the lesson in this? And then when you shift your mindset to, instead of complaining, you start having gratitude for things, whether they go how you want or not. See, that's a big shift for a lot of you. Having gratitude whether they go how you want or not. That mindset shift of appreciating failure, appreciating mistakes. So many people miss out on making the kind of money that they were meant to make in their business because they're so focused on never making mistakes and always doing things right. And I get that. And oftentimes that comes from a traumatic experience in your past where you made a mistake and it was painful for you and you don't want to experience that pain again. So I get it. I get where that comes from. That was, again, all this stuff I'm sharing with you is stuff that I've lived, is stuff that I've experienced, and it's stuff that I know that when you shift out of this place of complaining and trying to avoid making mistakes and trying to always do the right things at all times. Now that comes from, that sounds good in theory. I'm going to try to always do the right things at all times. But you're human. You're a person. You're a human being, my friends. It's not practical to believe. And unfortunately, I can see the numbers on this podcast. That was the point where people dropped off this podcast. I usually lose people when I say that. I usually lose people when I say to not focus on doing all the right things at all the time. Because that belief, that feeling of I have to do all the right things or things are going to go bad for me is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for failure, like long-term failure. You don't fail if you get back up again. You don't fail if you're tenacious. You don't fail if you pick yourself back up. One of the biggest things that you have to start doing is being okay with making mistakes. Being okay with people not being happy with you. Being okay with not pleasing everybody and doing what everybody else wants you to do. Being okay with making messes. Being okay with messing up. Being okay with things not going how you want them to be and having gratitude in those moments. Being okay with total failure of everything going the opposite of how you want it to be and being happy when it does. Until you get to that place in your mindset where your emotions, your feelings are not dictated by how things are going around you, you will struggle to make the kind of money that you want to make. Because we're living in this framework that I can't be happy unless things go how I want. Things are never going to go how you want. And so realize that you got to get to work. You have to take action to reach your goals. You have to take action now, imperfectly, even without the perfect plan. See, without a plan, you're planning to fail, but if you spend your whole time planning, you're never taking action. Start taking action on the things that you plan to do. Don't be somebody who just exists to please people and make other people happy and do what other people want. Start to affirm yourself. Start to believe in yourself. Start to increase your level of self-esteem. Speak positive things of yourself every single day. Cut out the negative complaining. No longer speak words and language of negativity out of your mouth about what's not going how you want. My friends, that mindset, that framework, if you lived your life in that way every single day, your situation would start to change. Your financial situation, if you're doing the activities and the strategy, absolutely it takes a strategy to be successful. It takes a strategy for us to turn $8,000 into 70 grand in 2 weeks. That was a campaign that we ran. So it didn't really cost us 8 grand because we made over 62K in 2 weeks. That took a strategy. But before the strategy works, it takes the right way of thinking. Okay? And that's where I think a lot of people miss it. They're looking for a strategy, but they're operating with a mental framework that is wired in their brain to prevent them from making that kind of money. And so if you rewire your brain in a way, you change your beliefs about what's possible for you. You change your beliefs about what it means to be happy. You change your beliefs about what it means to be successful. You realize you can be successful. You realize you can be happy more often. You realize you can operate from a place of power instead of lack and fear and worry. It will literally, you can do the same strategy, but with that different mindset, your outcome will be different. You want to know why? Because the way that you're filtering that strategy, we're always filtering. I've never taught this before. This is awesome. Our strategies get filtered through. Think of like a coffee filter. Think of like a water filter. They get filtered through our mindset. Now imagine that you have a water filter, okay? And you're filtering water, drinking water. But that water filter is like 10 years old and it's been pushing a lot of water through it. You think that water is going to be as clean as a brand new filter? No. And it's the same thing with strategy. If your mindset is not set up in a way that allows you to do the activities that you need to do, and you're not filtering it through what I've just talked about on this episode, what I've just talked about the language that you use, about the words that you use, about your self-esteem, about not being a people pleaser, about not only trying to make other people happy, about being willing to make big, messy, massive mistakes on a regular basis instead of trying to constantly avoid making mistakes. If you filter that strategy through that mindset, the outcome is literally one-to-one extremely different. It's so different. It's like can be the same strategy, because I've given the same strategy to so many people. The ones that I give it to with this mindset, they make money. And we have strategies on my website. I got a course where I teach you how to make offers that convert, that sell to people, that make money, that bring in those kind of revenues. We use a lot of paid ads for our stuff, but our paid ads, that at worst, they break even 95% of the time. We ran a campaign last week that did not, but we stopped it after it was clearly not working. And now it's working again because we shifted it. We adjusted the offer. So we go back to the framework of how we're telling the story to the customer. We realized, oh, we're not connecting with the customer in this way. That's why it didn't work. It's obvious. When you filter the strategy through the right mindset, that's how we have grown companies to $500,000 a month in recurring revenue. Oh, and by the way, that recurring revenue sustained itself for years. It wasn't just a one-time month. That's how we helped grow businesses, a $10 million business, 30% increase in their bottom line in less than 6 months. That's, I think, $3.6 million more in 6 months. With that strategy of using paid ads the right way. And that's what I teach in my courses. That's what I teach on my website. That's what I teach and coach people on and consult companies to do. That's how I make money, is by helping others make buku bucks. But you got to have the right mindset. You have to have the right mindset to be able to do this, or you will be constantly floundering. You will be constantly struggling to make money. And that's why a lot of you've learned a lot of what the right things to do are, but you're doing it with the old framework, the old mindset. And so when you shift your mindset in this way, what I've just shared with you, and some of you are going to come back and listen to this episode over and over again, I think, until it starts to sink in. Some of you might need to get some help, a mentor, a counselor. Some of you might need to get some therapy. I had to go through therapy for 6 months. 6 months, once a week. BetterHelp.com is what I used, licensed therapist, to work through a lot of the mental frameworks that were literally keeping me stuck from childhood stuff that was like intense. And now, coming out the other side of that, I highly recommend it to people. If you've tried everything, if you've tried all the self-help stuff, getting a therapist really does help. At least for 3 to 6 months, I would say minimum. Getting a coach, getting a strategy, finding what to do to grow your business. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're somebody that wants to make the kind of money that you want to make, you got to get your mind right. And then the strategy becomes a whole lot easier to implement because you're not operating up against a brick wall that's constantly stopping you. Your brain isn't constantly telling you, I can't do that. I can't be doing this. This isn't what I should be doing. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. See, if you're operating in the way I was talking about, your brain is going to you'll literally have the strategy and then you will talk yourself out of doing the activity that's actually going to make you money. That's what happens to people. That's what I see happen all the time. And so when you change this mindset, and this episode is about mindset. We have other episodes, over 141 episodes of the Grow Your Life podcast on my website, jeremiahkrakowski.com. Hashtag Grow Your Life on any podcast app out there. About half the episodes are strategy. The other half are mindset. That's kind of how I've done it. I go one-to-one, intermix. We do business strategy, and then we do mindset. Last week we talked all about doing online events. This week's all about mindset. If you change how you filter that strategy through, it's going to help you make a whole lot more money. Can't guarantee you're going to make money because I'm not there doing the action for you. Okay? It'd be silly if I even tried to. I'd be lying to you. If I guaranteed you're going to make money, I don't know what you're doing every single day. Okay? But this one thing I do know, this mindset will change your life. Listen, if you need help in a business, I'm shutting down doing 15-minute calls here really soon. But I want to let some of you know I'm still doing a few of them through the end of the year. And then I'm no longer letting people get free calls with me anymore. You're going to have to pay. That starts at $500 an hour. But you can get a free 15-minute call with me at my website, jeremykrakowski.com. And we can talk about your business, why you're stuck, and what's stopping you. Absolutely free. It's not a sales pitch either. Because I want to help you, and I want to help you get from where you are to where you want to be as well. If you want, you can just send me a DM. You can comment. There's lots of ways to get a hold of me. I respond to every single DM that comes in. I look at them. I respond to every single comment that comes in. I read them personally. I want to help you get from where you are and start making the kind of money that you want to make. That's my passion. That's what lights me up. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk soon.